What's going on, everybody? So NFL football is back, and yesterday that rematch of the Super Bowl was unbelievable. A lot of people thought that Trevor Siemian would come out and just be a bum, but it wasn't. That wasn't the case. The first quarter he was kind of, the first half he was kind of pedestrian, but the second half he definitely 100% outshined Cam, and that's not to take anything away from Cam because we know he broke two records. What is that? The most rushing touchdowns and, games with a rushing touchdown and a pass touchdown or whatever over Steve Young or whatever. Look, all that stuff doesn't matter. The bottom line is this, though. The kind of poise that this young man showed was unbelievable to me personally watching it, because he threw a tip pick. They were doing whatever they wanted to do to him. And listen, the Panthers defense is very, very stout. So I don't see any reason why they shouldn't return to the playoffs and possibly go back to the Super Bowl. And also for the Broncos, I would be very, very nervous about this team because the defense showed up when you needed them the most. Like Von Miller had that one sack at the end of the game, but that was a very, very critical sack. DeMarcus Ware sat out a lot of the offseason, some of the OTAs and stuff like that to get his back right. He looked really, really good, got really, really low against Michael Orr to get that sack. So I really like what I'm seeing from the Denver Broncos. As far as watching the overall gameplay and the new rules in the NFL, when the guy, the lineman was just jumping and they called him for an unsportsmanlike penalty, and that's one towards being ejected. I didn't like that too much, but we're going to talk about that later on in the actual overall team podcast when we do the full recap after Sunday's games. But Kelvin Benjamin returning was huge for the Panthers. He definitely came out. This guy, he's so big, but he runs around like Steve Smith. Like he's running across the middle, running these routes, and it's almost impossible to really cover this guy. And Chris Harris tried one-on-one with him, but he's too big. He's too big of a man. And we all know that the kicker is who cost him the game, a 50-yarder at the end of the game. But Cam Newton played well enough to help them win. But it looked like he got hurt in that sack where DeMarcus Ware got him low, and then there was head-to-head contact with Von Miller. But regardless of all those things that were happening, it's going to be a tough year for the Panthers in this regard. Everybody is expecting them now. Last year when Benjamin got hurt and he was out for the season and everybody just looking at him like whatever, it didn't really matter. It wasn't the same thing. Now that you can game plan for it, and we have to give Gary Kubiak a lot of credit, because last year I know I was one of those guys that, listen, I don't know how this guy got that job. What is he doing? He called an unbelievable game yesterday. So it wasn't as if the Broncos got lucky. They fought in it. He played consistent. He played a consistent game to what he knew his young quarterback would be able to thrive. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a situation where it was just like, all right, I'm going to go out here and see what he could do. He passed the ball. He had a rookie running back come in, fumble in the first drive, put him right back in the game. And look, you got a fullback right here running for 6. These calls were not, calls that people can consider just like, basic novice calls. This guy knew what he was doing. And you can't take anything away from the Panthers defense, because Luke Kuechly and, Davis, those dudes, man, I can't believe it. Thomas Davis really 33? That dude is playing out of his mind right now. This game really kept me on the edge of my seat, man, throughout the whole entire thing. And Cam Newton showed me that at least, that's a very, very stout defense. So I'm not really worried about what's going to happen later on in the playoffs, because I think that right now Cam Newton is over that hump where the Seattle Seahawks is really, really in his head. Because in my opinion, if you looked at the Denver Broncos before this game, you were saying if they won the game, it's going to be all about the defense. Technically that was true, but it wasn't. The offense really put some work in, but the defense is stout enough to be compared to the Seattle Seahawks, and Cam Newton played pretty well against it. It's just that when they started hitting him, I don't know if he made, just his brain wasn't working the proper way, if he had a concussion, but he started throwing the ball crazy. And I learned yesterday, just like I know a lot of you guys did, when the announcer said it, that it's not the outside doctor that has to clear them. It's the team doctor. The outside doctor just has to evaluate what's going on or whatever. He's just sitting there, and pretty much it doesn't really make any sense for them to have the outside doctor there if he has no influence and if the guy comes back in the game, because something was wrong with Cam when he got hit in the head, though. But obviously looking at him dive across right there, the dude is still one of the most promising young quarterbacks in the league. He still has that time frame that he can put in to be a Super Bowl champion, but every year, as we know, it gets harder in the NFL. So I'm not really expecting a lot of things this year from the Panthers. I'm just being honest about it, because we know they have a great defense. That we know, but the Broncos are a savage team, bro, because looking into when you saw, okay, Peyton Manning retired, even though he had one of the worst statistical seasons of his career, he's still Peyton Manning. So when you look at it like that, they brought in Mark Sanchez, and guys are like, are you serious right now? Like, John Elway is probably, the guy could probably go to any team right now and just be a GM for any team. Like, the guy is really, really good with what he's doing. He's able to formulate a plan regardless of what happens, because everybody was thinking about Osweiler. Nobody thought about Trevor Siemian, who was like third in the depth chart last year, that's going to come in and do all the stuff that he's doing. But it's showing that this guy really knows, he knows what he's doing. John Elway definitely knows what he's doing, bro. And the Broncos are going to be very, very dangerous. So all you Mile High fans, I wouldn't really worry about it. I thought it was going to be all defense this year. I thought their offense was going to be shot. But then, look, man, CJ Anderson, he looks like he's slow, or he's just like a little fat guy or whatever. I don't really know how to describe how he, because his face is like kind of chubby, and he doesn't look like a prototypical running back. That man is, I'm gonna tell you this right now. That dude is, he's a vicious animal on that field, man. Straight up. This dude, the runs that he made yesterday, and the way he broke through, that screenplay score that he had, I don't really, it doesn't make any sense that he's doing the stuff that he's doing, because when you look at every other running back, it looks like they're taking excessive amounts of steroids and stuff like that. He looks like a natural guy that goes into the gym, sees his physical trainer, does what he has to do, works it, and just comes out there and plays, man. But I wish I would, it was so many of the different things I could have done I drafted a friend's fantasy football league. If I'd have known that he's gonna come out running around like that, bro, I'd have just took him a lot higher, because like he said, even in the interview after the game, he just does what's asked of him, and he does it within the system, and he thrives on it. Jonathan Stewart is no slouch either, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I did not expect CJ Anderson to play like that, man. That dude, look, man, if the Denver Broncos keep playing like this, they're not going to lose a lot of games if they play. If the offense gives them what they got against the Panthers, and the defense plays like that, we already know they have a stout defense. If they play I don't expect them to lose a lot of games. And it may turn out that they go back to the Super Bowl, because, honestly speaking, they can get to the quarterback no matter how fast you throw the ball. So even with guys like Tom Brady, who, he'll be back after 4 games, I don't expect much when you face this defense, because you're looking at DeMarcus Ware right there. Him and Von Miller together, and I love this for DeMarcus Ware, because he went through so many years in Dallas where it was just like, this guy's going to be a great linebacker, great DN, whatever he is, and just never get a ring. Not only does he have a ring now, he's still playing at a top tier level. So, John Elway has done a lot for these young men's, I call him a young man, he's only in his 30s, young man's career, man, because it could have been the end for DeMarcus Ware. If he goes to any other team, his career is over probably. He's going to make a couple sacks, be D Ware, and that's it. But he's playing very, very well in a defensive system that is really, really good. So he has the potential to go. I'm telling you, I did not expect this from the Denver Broncos, man. I thought it was going to be all defense. But all in all, it was a great win for the Broncos. We already know that, Gano with that kick, bro, the thing went nowhere near the uprights. It is what it is. Please make sure you guys stay tuned for the G Miles World podcast for the NFL recaps that are coming soon after this Sunday's games. I usually do the Thursday night games and the Sunday and the Monday night games separately. But, definitely when I do the full walkthrough of all the teams, I'm pretty sure you'll like what you hear, because you're going to get my honest opinion about all your teams. You could definitely listen to it on iTunes, Android, my website at gmilesworld.com, and other sources that will be coming soon. I'll let you guys know about it. If you follow me on Twitter and Facebook, I'll put that information out there. But that was a great win by the Denver Broncos. Wow, man, it's going to be a great NFL season as long as they stop calling penalties when guys are just jumping in the air. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this recap. Until next time, one love.